Oh, God. 1 second. There, nothing was ever wrong ever. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am the executive producer, Senstaku, here at Final Show Films. Welcome to our stream. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters. I just skipped past half this monologue. On our Patreon, patreon.com/fsfilms. Rowan Parker, Trevian Alexander, Samantha Bates, Catwater Flame, and L. See, I told you I'd get it right by today. Thank you all for supporting us through all the madness that happens here on this side of the camera. And if you're watching us live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to... Sorry, the look on Craig's face.
Are you okay, John?
I'm fine.
That's a valid question.
Just had to swallow the energy. It's not the first time. Anyways, I'm John. I'm your game master.
This is why Twitch wouldn't let us use the correct word that we wanted to use earlier.
It's true.
That's
it's
it.
true.
That's exactly it.
It's all my fault. I've tried to start this twice now. I'm the game master for the evening. I'm joined today by Nikki.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Nikki. You can find me online at the Wig DM over on Twitter, and I am one of the executive producers at Slady's ATL. Come check me out and watch me do Thirsty Sword Lesbians. No, I will do a long intro. You can't stop me.
No, I was like guns in the air, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Da-da-da-da.
Oh, I'm playing Scuzz tonight. Yeah, that's important.
That's important.
No, it's not. Everyone knows who Scuzz is.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Titania Valkorian, a Ladrin Druid of the Circle of the Grim Harvest.
And Ilana.
Hi, I'm Alana. I'll be playing the role of Camille tonight. I'm also playing Annabella Mercantis, the human ranger. And yes, I'm eating icing. Mind your business.
I didn't even notice. And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I am playing Gentminar, the half-elf Triggermancer Spellslinger.
Okay, every time you say, for some reason, every time you get to like your class, you go from a leisurely pace to really rushing through it as if you're embarrassed about your class.
Look, I made up this class out. I pulled this class out of my own asshole. It's worth being embarrassed about.
I pulled this class out of my ass. Ta-da.
Yeah, it's true. Now you know why I'm looking for a job.
And Craig.
Hi, I'm playing Grumman Belmunder, a dwarven Way of the Drunken Master Monk.
I'm concerned about you. And Holly.
Sorry, Craig's creeping me out. Hi, I'm Holly.
Do I need to get the sign?
Don't make me tap the sign.
Smile on your face was creeping me out.
They love when you tap the sign.
I'm playing Vespia. She's a tiefling Chandler.
And Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm playing Ithram Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jerry. I just want to say, for a second there, I thought you said you were playing a Chandler, and I was very
Yes!
excited for that.
It's our friends
Weaponized
episode.
candle makers. Let's do this shit.
I am
Could we
Jeremy.
be any more level 16?
God,
Fuck you, dude.
I'm Jerry. I am playing Sin. The only thing to be concerned about with me is my accent, and and Sin is a changeling warlock. I am not a changeling warlock. Sin is.
Yes, you are,
Also-
Jeremy.
Also,
that
is-
you know of.
That is
Your accents are
factually a
wonderful, and I love
lie. Your accents are not the only thing about you we have to worry about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Valdeth Stonebeard, the dwarven samurai who has far too many things to worry about right now.
Man, eventually we'll just have enough players that our intro will blot out the sun. Anyways.
We'll just do the intros, and then it'll be like
just 3
it'll
hours
be
of
like
intro.
10.
Yeah.
Time for a break.
Let's take a break in the middle of the intros. Anyways, as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, and happy Trans Visibility Day from the surprising number of trans people in Final Show Films.
We trans individuals for their Cash App and send them money.
I don't
Also,
have
did we
Cash
intro
App, but you can
Cody,
mail
or
me
did I
cash.
just black out for a minute?
We did. Cody was just
Yeah.
really subtle about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is it,
It was
surprising?
relatively
is it a
uneventful.
surprising amount, though?
Well, they just
I mean,
I don't
getting
think it
more
is.
chaotic late the longer it went on. Mostly.
It's not surprising. It's a surprising amount for those of us who didn't know we were a part of the number until recently.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Reasonable.
Anyways, when last we left off, chaos. And also, Grumman had made some drinks for everybody. There was a surprise heroes feast, and by and large, the group had decided they were going to windwalk their way into a menage a trois between dragons, giants, and titans.
And do we
And
know they're doing that because that changes things?
What am I gonna wear?
I gotta make sure we have enough oil for everybody.
I'll hold the keys.
This definitely has to be the point where we decide to walk just to fuck up the title.
I mean, then I'll just have to do something else to make the title true, and it won't be Windwalk.
We teleport onto the sun.
Stranger things have happened.
Drag the sun down to us.
We could do that.
We
Might
could
as
do
well be walking on the sun. Anyways.
Different song.
Grummond, you have delivered drinks, assuming that there were no objections to the drinks Grummond was delivering.
Nope.
You are
And
all you are all at a time where you have eaten and had drinks and studied in the tower library that is the archivist's mansion. Grummond, what would you like to do?
I did Gent eat? I don't think I think Gent skipped out on the Heroes Feast, right?
Gent definitely skipped out on the Heroes Feast. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in a little bit, Grumman comes back up. Gent is at a table by himself at this
Yep.
point? Or,
With
okay.
a stack of books.
We'll come back up and sort of knock on a nearby bookshelf and is holding a little plate and a mug.
Delmenda. Yes. What can I help you with?
Well, I noticed you hadn't had any dinner, and if you don't mind, I thought maybe we could have a brief chat. I know you're busy, but just a few things to go over.
By all means, have a seat.
And he puts down the plate and the mug, and it is I had notes and then I lost them. The country, is it Taram?
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 Taram. So it's is it Taram-ish? Turanian? What's the adjective?
Tyrion.
Tyrian. Okay, so it's the Tyrian equivalent of Tyrian Elvish equivalent of a grilled cheese and tomato soup. Like it's very sort of simple comfort food.
Picture the same thing but more German.
Yeah, fair. So I'll put it down. Said, hey, first off, I didn't know, so I thought you might like this though.
Oh, thanks very much.
Of course. I always thought it's best to have something a little bit comforting while getting into maybe a more challenging conversation. So I'm just going to come right to the point. I've been thinking about it, and well, you did sort of try to kill me.
Oh, I'm sure you would have been fine.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know I would have. In fact,
After all, I would have caught you.
Right. And I thought you were in the process of dying. But look, like I've said to you before, I've had 5 kids. All of them have worked in the family business. I'm used to having people that I care about want to kill me. But we've got bigger fish to fry. We've got an apocalypse on the horizon. You've got a fiance that may be becoming some sort of god to kill another god that she's also related to. You've got a wedding to plan. We've got a lot of things to do. And I just want us to all be working together. So if you've got a problem with me, I just want to know what it is. We can talk about it. Now, if it's just a stress relief for you to throw dwarves off mountains, I've been there before. But if it's something, I just want to know what it is.
Gent has been writing this entire time, and as Grumman finishes, sets down his quill, dusts the page, closes the book, and then just kind of steeples his hands in front of himself. I don't know that I'd particularly say that I still have a problem with you personally, Drummond. There is... It may be a difference of personality, perhaps. You mentioned you've 5 children, I think you said?
That's right.
And he looks Grumman dead in the eyes. I'm not one of them.
No,
you do tend to take a bit of a fatherly approach, I've noticed, especially with the rest of the group. That doesn't resonate with me personally. In fact, it's exceptionally bothersome. And granted, that might be an unusual facet of my own character, one that is unorthodox. I'm certain that there are many people across the world, when confronted with an empathetic, sympathetic approach from a person, clearly their elder, with a great deal of time and experience under their belt, that they can manage and accept that sort of thing. And certainly, if it's a question of culinary expertise or geographical knowledge of Iskova, something like that, I would have no problem defaulting to your greater knowledge on such topics, I'm sure. I neither need nor want parental presence of any flavor in my life, and I apologize if that flies in the face of your normal deportment.
I appreciate you being straight with me. I'll be honest, I'm a dwarf of settled habits, and I realize I can tend to act the way I act and forget sometimes as to my audience. And I understand that must be greatly frustrating. So I'll do my best to keep that in mind. I will say, it does make it a bit more difficult because sometimes you do act like a right spoiled brat. And I say that with all the fondness for you in the world.
Indeed. And the smile goes a little brittle at that point.
But you're not my kid, and I'm not your dad, and I don't want to be. Gods, I don't want to be. We're friends, Gent, or at least I'd like us to be. And I may be that weird older friend that sort of sits in the corner at parties and goes over and brings the dishes that nobody knows how to eat, but I'm also the one who will be over in the corner at the end washing up all the dishes. I'm just here to help. I don't want to be a god. I don't want to sit on a throne. But I've been on this world the better part of 2 centuries. I'm about to head into my 3rd, and I've gotten to like it. And I'd like to stick around. Like I've said to you before, I put in my time fighting and brawling and getting money, and then I put in my decades behind a bar to enjoy my retirement. And we need the world not to end for that to happen. So if I can be your friend and stand by your side at the end, I'd like to. And if you don't want another friend, I get it, but at least let me be your comrade in arms. And I'll try to watch the patronizing.
And for my own part, I do realize that any conflict frequently has 2 contributors, not always just one. And I don't want you to take away from this conversation that I place all of the blame for our lack of synchronicity at your feet. I'm sure there is a non-insignificant portion to be laid at mine.
Most of it, aye.
And for that, I do apologize. And if there's anything that specifically you feel might be a advisable, practical adjustment on my part in terms of personal interaction and that sort of thing, I'll certainly take that under advisement and do my best to modify my own behavior when in your company.
The only thing I can think of that might be good for you to know is that I know it was your first point of contact, as it were, with the Bellmenders, but we don't talk about it a lot, and I don't think he even remembers it. But you ought to know a great big bell fell on Crunchy's head when he was wee. He's not representative of the rest of us, is what I'm saying. I know he's a rough introduction.
Understandable.
All right. Well, I'm glad to clear the air. I'll try to be less of a fusspot. You can try to be less of a prat, and I think we'll save the world altogether.
And if I've never come out and said it directly, Garmond, and he kind of gestures down at the small plate. Your talents in the kitchen are remarkable, to say it minimally. And despite some of our conflicts, I've never once had a moment's pause at eating anything that you were willing to describe what was actually in it.
If I could save the world with a finely breaded and fried fish and the perfect pairing beside it, I'd do it in a moment. But if I can't, I'll be here ready to punch things. And if you can see your way to sharing a bit more in the way of your personal tastes, I'll make sure that finds its way onto your plate at least.
There are some people one meets that one simply does not get along with for whatever reason, through no fault of either of yours. Be that as it may, you are a good man, Grummond. I know at least that much about you. And I think I'll look forward to getting to learn a bit more about you over the next few months, or however long we have.
Oh, I've got stories to fill the months, and don't you worry. Or perhaps you should worry a little bit. But you're a good man as well, Kent. I'm glad to know you. Well, you've got a lot of reading to get to, and I'm not going to lie, that looks boring as hell. So I'm going to toddle off back downstairs and get to that washing up I mentioned.
All right. Thank you for being willing to speak.
Of course, don't stay up past your bedtime.
Back to the writing.
And he clearly says that with a big grin.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
and we'll head out.
Eventually, you all fall asleep in various locations. Some of you face down in books, some of you face down in food, some of you face down in a tub, hoping you breathe in the morning. And you have dreams of a variety of types. One in particular, though. Sin.
Yep.
As you sleep, or as you rest, you become aware of yourself in your dream. You become aware that you're in a dream. And you become aware that you're standing in a vast darkness.
What do you want, Galadir?
At the mention of his name, torchlight erupts from nearby, enough to illuminate Galadir on his throne. This large piece of mechano-arcane contrivance that is keeping his withering body alive. He looks at you. I have a task for you, Sin.
Of course you do. What do we need to do?
Having been listening, there is something of great importance that I need you to retrieve for me.
All right.
And prevent from being used beforehand.
How likely is this to get me murdered by one of my allies?
That is up to you. And also your problem.
70% is what I'm hearing.
I am dying, Sin.
That's unfortunate.
I have been dying for a very long time. The problem with that, as much as there are many people, I'm sure, in your own way you included, that would be happy to see me go, is that, should I die, an evil far worse than anything I could concoct would be unleashed upon the world.
I have no doubt of that.
For I would not die fully, but instead that which I hold at bay with my life force would come into possession of my body and my mind, and an uncalculable evil would be born. I hope I've weighed it enough for you.
I was never not going to do what you're saying. I simply, as you know, like to know the full situation that I'm getting myself into. Does this evil have a name?
Not in and of itself, not yet, but I imagine it will come up with something particularly clever and obscure.
All right, what am I stealing?
I am in need of the ritual of apotheosis that your new friend has mentioned. I have thought of many ways to extend my life. Unfortunately, they all have their limitations. And While I have no personal qualms with those who desire to become a lich, it's not my particular bag, and also would be at cross purposes.
All right. This is not undoable. That said, I'm going to need some things. I'm going to need very specific information as much as possible regarding what this evil is that will come out if you do die.
He looks around for a minute. Thinks for a second.
Vagaries and hints and that sort of thing are not going to be good enough in this situation. I need concrete information.
Your companion was curious about what I did to drive a lich out of these lands.
Mm-hmm.
The lich yard still stands, a testament to that which I hold back. Go there, it'll be far more evidence than my words could provide.
That is fair, and we will certainly do that. However, your words won't hurt.
I have used my body several thousand years ago as the keystone, the grand seal in the design of the gods. My life force powers a blockade, if you will, preventing a transplanar threat from consuming ours. It is not an entity in and of itself, but a mutation, or the catalyst of one. An oil that changes anything it touches, corrupting it into another form, one that serves, one that destroys and makes more of itself. What they serve, I don't know. Who they serve, I don't know. But it has been very slowly doing its best to change me.
I see.
And should I change fully?
That's bad.
Yes.
This is good. I can use it's bad, clearly, but this is good because this kind of detail I can use.
And again, for hard proof. And he sort of gestures, and a map appears in front of you of Eastfeld. And just, he sort of flicks a hand, and very easily it sort of markings appear on the map, indicating where you might find the Lich Yard. Very specifically, it is at the northernmost point of Eastfeld. Right over.
You're going to make me go to the map
here.
again. Right over. Oh, okay. Up there?
Yep.
That little blue circled area.
Yep.
All right.
The Lich did not leave because of me. The Lich left because of what I hold back. I let little get loose as a... well, I would say warning, but sport was more the term. And it
We'll
left
keep
behind
that part
evidence.
private, but okay. Noted. I'll see what I can do.
Be quick about it. Every day that passes hastens my trip to the grave. And should I get there before acquiring that ritual, the world will follow suit very quickly.
Duly noted.
And you all wake up. Sin in a bit of an involuntary cold sweat.
Yes. I'm gonna go find Valdeth.
Valdeth,
Oh,
where are
bloody
you?
hell, I've got ink on my face now.
Probably in her room, waking up, getting ready for the day.
A gentle knocking on the door.
Open it. Good morning.
And of note, you just see a changeling.
Mm.
Short, sort of white, about shoulder length hair, face not entirely complete, irisless eyes.
This will
You
be the
have a
first time
moment.
I've seen Sin.
Yes. Do you have a moment?
Certainly.
Step inside.
Shut
Shut
the door.
I have something that's been added. Well, I have a reason to need to bump one of our quests up on the priority chart a lot.
All right.
A lot of people are not going to like this, but it is essential. We need to get the ritual of apotheosis and quickly.
I get the feeling not for the reasons we've already laid out for it.
No, but that can't hurt. I realized how the next few words are going to sound. Just wait for what follows them.
Mm-hmm.
Galadir is dying and needs it.
The
I
thing
don't
he's sitting on gets loose if he dies, doesn't it?
I don't like the idea of Galadir becoming a god any better than anybody else, but yes. If he dies, something takes over his body, and that something will destroy this world. And not in a short manner. Not in the I take the world apart country by country in war kind of way that we're currently dealing with.
Aye. And if Galadir's been fighting this thing for nigh on centuries and hasn't found another way to kill it, then I don't think we're going to find one in a few months.
Not likely. I come to you because if I were to go to anybody else, I imagine my motives for this would be considered suspect. You are practical. You will understand this.
I mean, simple matter of numbers. We have more than one way to potentially kill our current god problem. We don't have any other way to deal with this problem.
Exactly.
I can understand that reasoning. I almost want to know more about what the fuck is going on.
In terms of Galadir?
The thing that he's holding back.
It's
What's
some
got him
sort
so
of
scared?
oil that corrupts everything it touches and is slowly corrupting him. We can apparently learn more about it if we go to the Lich Yard, because some got free there while he was expelling the Lich. That's why the Lich left.
Okay. Well, the good thing that we can tell out of that is that it's not infinitely replicating, which is...
Unless it's being held there by something related to the same reason why Galadir's holding it back at all.
Fair.
But yes.
As far as we know, it won't infinitely replicate. However, if he's holding back, a planar rift where this shit comes from, that won't really mean much, will it?
Exactly. I at the very least expect that if Galadir were impressing this upon us, that would probably be because he doesn't have many other options and we're already looking into it anyways. And he would not send the people he has working on this into a situation of certain death.
Also, Galadir doesn't really strike me as the kind of person who would want to become a god.
Yeah.
Like, divine power is one thing, but then you have to deal with worshippers.
I mean, yes, but he's not necessarily against the. I don't know. I think it's possible. Like, it's an unpleasant side effect, but. And I'm one of his allies, so imagine what most people think.
Mm.
Regardless, I think this is important. I don't think Geller definitely said time is an issue. I don't think that necessarily precludes us going to the Titan Skull, but we should make that absolutely the next thing on the agenda. If
Well, the
not,
Titan Skull will get us closer to where the Lich Shard is.
Exactly. Because the Lich Shard is all the way up at the top of the continent.
I definitely want to investigate this before I make any hard decisions.
I mean, that is fair.
But the simple arithmetic of war says we have more than one way to kill a god, and theoretically, none but one way to deal with this problem. So, if it comes down to it, I can see why you'd ask me first.
Yes, I would. It wouldn't succeed any other way.
But I do want to confirm that there is none but one way to deal with this problem.
Indeed. Well, I will leave you to the rest of your getting ready. Slips out, goes back to their room, and gets ready themselves.
So, you all awake, get ready, sharpen your blades, prepare your spells, wipe the ink off your face from where you fell asleep in your paperwork, and gather. Presumably in the dining hall, but who knows? Maybe you're all floating in the middle of the tower. What you doing?
Ready?
Making
Good
breakfast.
evening, afternoon, morning. I don't know. It was a strange night.
It is morning as Ithram comes in from outside the tower.
Very well.
Annabelle is helping Drummond with breakfast, as usual.
I feel like the two of us are pretty good team at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go? I am.
Everyone get your meal in. It might be the last time we have anything really good to eat for a while of fighting.
This is system confusion on my end. Is this a game where we've instituted a mechanic for making a culinary check and then there are potential bonuses from that, or no?
Yes, depends on what you are. Depends on what you're trying to do and what you're cooking with. But yes.
I'm trying to, because we are headed into kind of inhospitable areas, right?
Well, at least one inhospitable area, yes.
I mean, we're windwalking, right?
Yep.
So
Yes.
I will load up on stuff like relatively low salt, high in liquids and juice and things. So something fortifying, but also very hydrating.
Okay.
Because I don't want all my non-kids getting chapped.
Are you doing anything? Are you doing anything with the behir meat?
That was cured, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll take a very small portion, whether that was this morning or last night. We'll take a very small portion and do a relatively simple sear in the way that Ravan had suggested, just to get a sense for the taste, because he's not going to make a big dish out of something that he doesn't know the qualities of.
Okay, go ahead and give me a culinary tools check with your wisdom.
Okay.
Chef's tools.
That's-
Sorry, would be.
Can I-
we've been doing insight for that. Oh yeah, and can I get an assist, please, God?
Yeah.
Can I add advantage?
I mean, if you want to assist it, you get advantage.
Okay, yeah, it went from a 10 to
There
a
we go.
24. Thank you.
Do you have? I would assume you have proficiency in chef's tools, chef utensils.
Oh yeah, cook's
Yeah.
utensils,
Cook's
but yeah.
utensils. Yeah.
It's just
alright,
the fact
so-
that he's using beyond 20 and it's hard to roll tool skills.
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, exactly. No, I actually have proficiency in brewer supplies, cook's utensils, mason tools, and tinker tools, and I have a set of all of those.
Yeah. So you do a sort of a quick fry, and do you just eat it, whatever it is that you make with the bear meat?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is not a this is me just getting a sense of what its qualities are, so I can figure out how to use it in an effective culinary fashion.
So
It's the Skyrim version of jamming a plant you just found in your mouth so you can learn some of its
Exactly.
alchemy component.
So we'll say you did this last night, just so that you have the opportunity to do it in the morning if you so desire. Because as a refresher, since it's been a while, basically the way it works is just cooking regular food. You can make a culinary check to make it do things like give you some advantages on resistances to like exhaustion or things like that, to make your food fill you up and sustain you a little bit better. But if you have special ingredients, some of those might do other things, which you are reminded of as with a 24 cooking check. You sear and slice off a little bit of the bear meat, and as you cook it, you notice that it's crackling with electricity as it heats up. There's just sparks coming off of it as you cook it, and to a point where it seems odd, almost like the fire from the stove is turning into electricity. And you cook a little bit of it. You take it, hold it up, a little bit of sparks jumping off. They don't hurt you, but it's definitely like a visual effect of electricity on the meat. And you eat it. You learn several things. One, it's kind of sweet. It's much more sweet than you expect meat to be, just in general, particularly naturally. And there's sort of an electric tingle as you eat it. And Annabella, whom I'm assuming is in the kitchen with you because they were helping, you watch as Grumman like eats and chews and swallows, little bits of electricity begin to sort of like crackle and spark along Grumman's arms. Not that this matters because you're doing it at night, but until your next short or long rest, at that point, you have resistance to lightning damage.
Okay. This is again another failure on the play. On this is user error here. But is there anything at play? You know, the types of dragons, anything like that makes, or I guess the types of giants that makes me think that that might come in handy.
Nobody has told you much about the native dragons of Desolation, so you don't know.
And this meat isn't cured though. This is not gonna keep super well.
I mean, it's
what the heck? Okay,
it's salted, but it's not gonna keep for like as long as it doesn't see as you're like sort of in like cooking it. You get the sense that it's already particularly dry. The salting will make it last a bit longer, but it's not the kind of thing that can be kept for long, like for extended periods of time. This is something that you typically catch, kill, cook fresh or relatively.
Okay. All right. So then I definitely will use it the next day in the food.
Okay. So go make me another culinary tools check.
All right. Again with advantage thanks to Annabella's assistance.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Do you have a helper in the kitchen? That gives you advantage.
Cool.
Help is consistently the most underrated
25
action.
Yeah.
So
for
with
real.
25, Well, it's 25. So are you preparing like just a breakfast snack for everybody, or trail rations?
No,
What are you doing?
what he's doing is the night before, after this, having it in mind, he would have gotten out some sort of carbonated dough and started to work it through, left it to rise, and then got up early to prove it, and then has basically made this world's equivalent of English muffins. So, you know, with a little bit of rise and bubble to it, has baked those through, cut them in half, has very, very thinly sliced the behir meat, like thin, almost like ham slices, and then I would assume at this recently out, he's still got a decent supply of eggs, so he's going to make those and going to make essentially an equivalent of a hollandaise sauce over it. I'm making eggs behirdikt, basically with the behir meat for breakfast.
Oh my god, is that the cut of meat we've got?
So are you? How much of the meat are you using?
How much do I have to use to give some to everybody?
So the effect that you had there only took a very small amount of meat. You don't know what'll happen if you use more.
Well, like I said, I mean,
YOLO, Grummond.
Everybody's
like you can you have enough to feed, like you have enough behir meat to feed everybody, easily. Like you could feed everybody and give them thirds with the amount
everybody.
of behir meat you bought.
Yeah, but again, sort of what I'm butting up against is like the metagamey portion versus what would Grummond as a chef do.
Absolutely.
And Grummond is definitely making this dish, so I leave it to your discretion. Everybody would be getting 2 thin slices of this. Well,
okay.
I mean, basically, like picture, you know, it's eggs Benedict. Picture Canadian bacon, basically 2 slices of that much, because everybody's getting a full muffin split in half, 2 eggs, 2 slices.
So with the amount of people that you're feeding and that amount of meat, we'll say you still have 2 more meals worth of behir meat after this.
Oh, great. Okay. And let me know when I would need to start salting it or something so it doesn't go off.
You could start prepping it now, basically. So like you could start having it be, you know.
Can I retroactively have taken that cooler, the magical cooler, instead of the tankard that makes sound effects, which I have never used?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, yes, please. I would like to have done that, because I literally have never used that tankard, even though I was like, this is the greatest thing ever for a grandpa who tells stories. I've just never used it. So, okay. All right, so the bag of colding, or whatever we're calling it.
Holly, no, you didn't have any specific. You didn't learn anything specific from your nightly visitation.
Okay.
Yes, it was called. Hang on, let me go find it in my magic items list.
And I'm sorry. After this, I promise I'm done. We can stop.
No, you're good. We'll go ahead and move on. I'm assuming you're putting the meat in that.
Yeah,
I'll find it in a minute.
That and the eggs.
So you are all greeted for breakfast with slightly electrified eggs Benedict. And by slightly electrified, I mean the meat is on lightning.
It looks like a breakfast baked Alaska, except instead of flame, there's just like crackling electricity over the top.
The
spicy.
ever ice box. That's it.
Ever ice. Okay.
Oh,
dang!
I'll put it in your journal.
It's named the same thing as the thing I need to find. John, do I already have the thing?
No, you don't.
Okay.
That's a fascinating plating.
There, it's in your journal.
Thanks. It's behir meat. I've had a little bit last night.
Behir meat? Sorry. Sorry.
Behir is a monstrous creature, Scuzz. No.
Not a bear.
Dragon hunters, if I recall.
No,
correctly.
as a matter of fact, a bear is a large, generally forest or mountain-based mammal, and nobody knows what they were actually originally called.
Again, I know what a bear is.
Didn't we get this at the from that lad at the market?
Right. Well, I think Scuzz was a little bit more focused on the taffy.
There was candy.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that's all right. Yeah, it's sort of like a crocodile and a centipede fell in love and had a lightning baby.
Oh, sweet. Scuzz has already eaten this, You presented food to him. He saw that it crackled. He's like, "Oh, sweet spice," and he
And-
shoved it both into his mouth.
And now you all see that Scuzz has a slight amount of electricity coming off of him.
It's because his hair standing up at all.
Yeah.
Have I gone Super Saiyan, John?
Yes.
Not yelling enough.
Yummy, yummy, ha.
It is that effect, though. It's the Super Saiyan 2 lightning effect, where it's just like passive lightning, just
like
crackling around them.
passive lightning
Yes,
crackle.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'm not sure what
Bioelectricity.
sort of giants or dragons we might run into, but first I thought it might come in handy. Second, I thought it was rather tasty, and third, I didn't want it to go off. So here we are.
And look at me. Someone, Scuzz, like, I want to touch something.
Grumman will reach out. It looks like the creation of man.
Yeah. The creation of Scuzz.
Scuzz, where did all your clothes go?
Not again.
Somebody get on photoshopping that, please.
Where's Athena when we need her?
I've got the Hero Forge figures. I can make it happen.
There you go,
good.
bud.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, Scuzz
Gen's
just like
eaten his by now, probably too.
Yeah. Val definitely eat hers.
So,
Ithram has probably eaten this before, just not as often.
and not to this effect. You've never had it prepared this well. So, all of you that eat the double serving of behir meat, all of you gain until your next short or long rest, resistance to lightning damage, and anytime you make a melee attack, you can add a d6 of lightning damage to it.
Ooh.
That's what happens when
Not
you double.
not
when
once
you-
not once per round. Every melee attack.
Every melee attack adds an
Oh
extra
my
d6
God.
of
Let's
lightning damage.
Get me into a battle.
Grummond has found his default go-to foraging.
Because
I'm gonna start
because
making jerky.
because behir meat is very difficult to acquire.
You have to hunt a behir, which
And
is
they're
a
not
dragon
easy to
hunting
kill.
lizard.
I'm already,
we're
like,
eating the
running back to
lizard
the
that
market.
eats other lizards,
Literally-
bigger lizards.
There's a reason why the people selling it are Taraskers. They're the only ones that can do it regularly.
Like behirs are like massive, like 8-limbed or 10-limbed lizards that shoot lightning and hunt dragons.
Nikki knows what this creature is, and I love it. I love it very
Um,
much.
And for the reminder of those of you that have been to Desolation before, you know that the biggest dragon in the area is an ancient
It's a-
blue dragon.
Blue. Yep. Mm-hmm.
More lightning.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What would happen if we ate Behir dragon steak burger? Double lightning? Can that happen? Grum, can that happen?
There's only one way to find out.
I want to eat it.
Sort of a turducken.
I like how it took
Dragon.
this. I like how it took this long for someone to investigate what happens when you make meals with weird things.
Is it
Sometimes
really
you might die.
is it really a turducken or is it more of a bolt dragon?
Right. A baragon.
But we need a third equally electrifying. Should it be smaller than a
We'll
Behir?
stuff similar shape. We'll stuff the behir
eel
with eels.
inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. So I'll tell you guys what.
Oh,
Don't
dear.
we need to
You
get
can
going?
survive the destruction of the world, then you guys can start making weird things with multiple creatures.
Titania and
Okay.
Gen start walking out the door.
Yeah, Ithram's looking for the key for the early
Look,
close.
your Isvelvian nesting doll of meats can wait for a bit.
All right. Your point is well taken, but Annabella, you can't tell me you don't want to try it.
We're
Also, what if it
trying
just-
this after we save the world.
All right.
What if it happens along the way?
Just
Stranger things have happened.
It's because I deputize you to look for food things to be shoved into other food things as we're going along.
I'll even be the taste tester to make sure we don't die.
That's a good lad.
It's really hard to kill me.
Me too. High five.
This does not sound like a good idea.
Yeah, it sounds really scary, actually.
I'm
Sounds
not
like
going
the
to
best
lie.
idea.
I'm legitimately looking forward to trying Drachidia.
If Scuzz didn't die from an explosion of swords in our backyard, nothing can kill him.
What shape is Sin in currently?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to ask.
Zara.
Okay.
Zara was back.
Yeah,
Okay.
staying drow for now. Because
Down
we're in the
up.
place where they don't like drow, so how could you not be? How could you
Right.
not be a drow?
Once you go drow, you stay that for now.
So what we're learning is that Sin is
No.
absolutely the person that would walk around Portland wearing a swastika.
No,
No.
there are lots of examples that you could use. Why would you go with
Fuck is that
that
an
one?
equivalency?
Hey, John.
What the
Hey,
fuck?
John. Hey, John. Hey, John. Too far. Too far.
Why, of all the things?
Because I have ADHD and my brain
Go
doesn't
to
work.
commercial.
That's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, dude. We
I
love you,
also have
John.
ADHD. See this? This is why we can't have nice things, John.
Exactly.
Sure.
Go outside the
And Twitch was worried about the three-way tag. Jesus.
It's all right. We don't make money off this anyways. So
go outside the camp probably before I cast it.
go outside. And Tanya cast a spell. What does it look like when you cast Windwalk now?
Windwalk. I think kind of similar. She's doing like symbols of wind in the air. Yeah.
And again,
That's
as with every time Titania has cast spells thus far, you watch as the shadowy figure manifests behind her and mimics her every motion.
Holy shit.
During
What's
the
that?
minute that it takes to cast that, Gent goes to speak to Valdeth very briefly. Darling, you know our heading? What direction we're aiming for? Because we won't be able to talk.
I've got our direction. Yes. To be fair, isn't the skull visible from here?
No.
Okay.
There are bones visible from here, but not the skull.
All right.
The skull's on at water level.
All right. So we're heading. Sorry, don't snap. We are heading this way. Oh no, sorry. We are here, but we're heading.
Yes.
That way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are heading this way.
Correct.
Aye. North by northeast.
Very well.
That did not come across, Mara.
And poof.
All right. You all feel yourselves becoming lighter and lighter and lighter, and then you are clouds in vague shapes resembling humanoids.
Yes.
And Valdeth leads the way.
How high are you flying?
What was our goal? It was low flying mist, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
to
looked like dust blowing up.
Yeah.
Yes, because you do notice that there are no clouds in the sky above you.
Yeah, so we stay low like a cloud of dust.
No clouds allowed.
You stay low, rolling across the ground. You do notice that, so you begin to fly. You fly very quickly because you are wind, and you. What's the speed that the wind walk?
Like 300 feet around.
Around.
You get a flying speed of 300. So if you dash, you go 600.
We go real fast.
And if you're a rogue with a bonus action, you go 900.
Right.
Scuzz
No,
just
it's
zips.
based
Or a
on your
monk.
descriptions. It's going to take us about half an hour to get there, based on your descriptions of how many miles it was.
Yeah, because it's not even a full day of travel.
Yeah.
Because each square is a day of travel, and based on
foot, yeah.
on foot, and based on the speed you got, yeah.
Getting it like a little cumulus cloud. Just
Yeah, it should take us literally a 20th of the time, or a 10th, depending.
Oh, yeah, very very short of time. So you, it's 8 hours, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it lasts for
So
8 hours,
interestingly,
yeah.
you actually create your own cover as you go, because while mist, you don't have a lot of mass. You do have enough mass moving fast enough that you actually kick up dust off the ground and create this sort of roiling dirt cloud that does make it a little bit difficult to navigate. So, Valdeth, I need you to give me a survival check. No one can help you on this because you are all clouds and can't talk.
What if we all use cloud speak? Like make yourself into words.
This is why everybody needs to learn Kraus sign.
Or telepathy.
Or telepathy.
I have telepathy.
Why didn't you teach us telepathy?
You could help, Sin.
I will help, yes.
All right, get
Yeah,
advantage.
Yay.
Anyone that has telepathy could help.
Yes.
Advantage, survival, 17.
All right, so with a 17, yeah, you manage to not get lost in your own cloud. As you just create what eventually
4 hours
becomes
we've just been flying in a circle in the middle of desolation.
just creating a tornado. Yeah. You have actually spun off several dust devils. Cody, it's actually reminding you there is as you're sort of like just aware of what's going on, you recall a story when you were younger of a what appeared to have been a sentient dust storm that was said to have roamed desolation at one point in time. And as you're just the wind you're kicking up with your movement causing these dust devils to spin up and spiral off. For whatever reason, you're just given an image of that in the back of your head of like, oh, this must be what that looked like.
Oh, dude, come on.
What happened? I just saw an animal go flying.
My cat stepped on the computer and shut it off for a second. I was able to hit the power button.
Oh my
quick
god.
enough.
That we didn't notice. That was good.
That is some fucking talent, Cody.
Well done.
His claw almost got stuck in the grating, but he let go. Now he's looking at me like I'm a bastard.
Father, how could you?
Okay. 1,000 years jail for mother. So very quickly, you find your way north, riding along the edge of desolation until you find yourselves at an overhang. You notice two things. One, the weather has changed as you've very rapidly made it out to the edge of desolation. Unlike where you were previously on the edge, where there was just dust cloud, here there is what looks like a whirlpool, but in the sky. As you sort of see above, centralized above whatever is happening down below you, there is just this twisting spiral of a cloud formation immediately above you with lightning crackling through and down from it. Kind of like an inverted hurricane. Because you can very clearly tell that the cone is going up. And below, you look several 100 feet down, you see a gathering of conflict. There are a vast number of giant figures, some larger than others, many of whom seem to be currently engaged in battle with draconic forces and other more construct-esque giants. On one side of the battle. On the other side of the battle, you see two of the most massive dragons you've ever seen, in person at least, surrounded by much smaller iterations of their kind, going into combat with giants and constructs. One blue with this sort of electric shimmering to it. You recognize the Lord of Desolation, those of you that have seen him before. And the other, the same dusty red and brown of the wasteland of desolation itself. A type of dragon none of you have ever seen before. it seems almost as if its hide is made of cracked dirt and rock. And as it and its kin maneuver around the battlefield, you actually watch as it. Hang on, let me pull up the thing. Let me get the thing. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. As someone got upset. Yeah, there is. You watch as it breathes out not a traditional type of breath attack that you're familiar with, or an elemental one, but instead this sort of like dark reddish white energy that has no real like substance to it, but blasts away anything that it hits. And at the other point of this triangle, you see first the largest creature any of you have ever seen, dwarfing yet still the giants and the giants and the dragons that are on the battlefield with it. Several times any of their size, standing roughly to the nose cavity of the massive skull that it is guarding. This colossal titan, for lack of a better term, seems to be made almost entirely of either stone or metal. It's hard to tell, though moves with the grace and fluidity of flesh, commanding itself an army of similarly metallic-seeming creatures that move with the grace of flesh. And having now heard a description of it, this is not exact, but I'm going to give you a basic view of what you're seeing as soon as I turn the lights on. You are to the south of this, basically, looking down from a cliff top.
Oh boy.
Cool.
There are also humanoid-sized entities on the battlefield that I'm not representing, because why would you care about them?
They're really big.
Look, people are people too.
I mean, in the narrative sense, these are the threats that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Jack, what you're saying is a person's a person, no matter how small.
Kinda.
How blocked is because these are all kind of clustered toward the front of this skull. How clear is the path if we kind of go along the side, like through, like around here?
Yeah, could we go up and through the eyeball?
So
Yeah.
The eye socket?
you are all currently, hang on, let me use this.
Mm-hmm.
You are all currently off the map in this area. Hang on, let me make that a clearer.
Yeah, something
clearer
that doesn't
image.
blend into the background.
Yeah, look, I make decisions, as we learned a few minutes ago. Not all of them are good. There. Let's go with circle red.
This area here is lower than the surrounding. Look, it's sort of like a canyon.
It's actually a river.
Okay.
You see, there is a river coming out of the mouth of the Titan.
Got it. Okay.
And to be
How
clear,
deep-
is this point a waterfall? Because it looks like a waterfall.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
This is topographically what you're seeing. You're looking down across this sort of valley at where the skull is.
Got it. Okay.
So that red dot off the map in that direction is where you all are right now. There are, to give you an idea of the battle lines, I will mark off where largely the forces are. We'll say yellow for dragons. So the dragons are all centralized over here.
Also, is the scale on this map accurate as far as
Yes.
distances? Okay.
Mhm. The giants are all over here. and the Titans are, well, obviously, there's only one group left, are all here. That's not a good color at all. Let's try that one again. The Giants, or the Titans, are all... there's not a lot of good colors that stand out against this. These are all very blue.
Here.
Here, we'll use green. There we go. The Titans are all here, defending on sort of both sides, kind of. They're using you can immediately tell because they don't have tribes of humanoids with them. Oh, hang on, there is no sound on this screen. Oh wait, no, I have sound on the screen. Never mind, there is sound. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was terrified for a second that nobody had been hearing me. Anyways, so yeah, there are, because they don't have any tribes of humanoids. The Titans are at a distinct numbers advantage. They are using the terrain as best they can, and attacking from height, which the dragons don't seem to really care about, but the dragons are keeping low because they are trying to avoid something, you don't know what, but you can very distinctly tell they are being discouraged from flying. And the giants are doing what giants do, hitting things with big thing and throwing rock.
We want to avoid these fights, correct?
We're still Cloud, right?
Yeah, you are all still Cloud at the moment.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I mean,
Then
you've got
transmit-
telepathy, so
yeah,
you're fine. Right.
In that case, transmitted by one into everybody's head. We want to skip this fight, correct?
Here's a query. What's preventing us from just driving this dust storm we've built through this battlefield and using it as cover as we slip by?
We'll transmit that to everybody else in succession.
Concern is that we don't technically know whether what we're seeking is in there. We think we don't exactly know where it is. We're going to draw attention doing that.
I don't know that we're going to get in there without drawing some kind of attention, and I'd rather have it be on the dust clouds on us.
If I condense and can cast something, I can do commune with nature and see if there is a portal in there.
Actually, I do know, because I did the augury, we do know that what we're looking for is in the skull.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
We have a... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I can't get all of this, but I can get myself and one person right past that group.
I could also get myself and one person.
Yeah, no, you're
through.
Yeah, we're dimension door.
Yeah, dimension door is 500 feet. Yeah, no, you could
Yep.
you could get inside the skull with dimension door.
Scuzz has a way of casting dimension door once.
At the very least,
I think once.
Once we get in there, we are in a much more defensible position rather than having to fight our way through three warring groups of people.
I should point out that this battlefield is small enough that Windwalk, we can literally just blast through it.
Perhaps we should wait for a little bit,
Like,
see
it's
what
not-
defenses they have.
It's
Yeah.
not even
Place.
300 feet to the skull from the edge of the battlefield.
You
We
are
could,
off
Mike.
the edge of the
No,
battlefield for what that's worth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
and,
is.
and up a couple hundred feet.
It's noticeable that none of the dragons are flying, correct?
Yes, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
None of the dragons are flying.
We should wait to see until if we can discern why they're not flying.
Absolutely.
If we're able to get inside, do we have an easy way once we find what we're looking for to get back out?
Yes.
Can you teleport us? That sort
I
of
do have
thing?
that spell.
I can't take us. Yes, I can't. I personally can't take us anywhere, but I can take us to a circle, and then we can go from there.
Alright. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be where we're going. Just sort of out of here, away from the three-way.
Indeed.
For what it's worth, you all would, or at least most of you would know, you can condense and then turn back into cloud later. You don't have to.
I have a question. Looking up at that storm, can I make a nature check or something to figure out if that is connected to why the dragons aren't flying? If that's just an effect of like the dragons that are fighting on the field.
Sure,
right
make a
now?
nature check.
What's going on with that?
So are we like kind of? We're on basically a cliff overlooking this.
Yes.
A little ways away.
From the
And
south, yeah.
There's nothing immediately near us.
No, there are no ruins or
From
anything.
any of
There's some bone.
No
like
creatures.
Oh, no creatures.
Like from
no,
any of the
no.
factions. Okay.
No,
Then
not as
yeah,
far as you can tell.
I'll condense while we're up here.
No, this seems
Can
like
I
it's
make a
far.
Nikki?
It seems like it's far enough away from whatever's happening, and something's happening with flying potentially that nobody has any troops stationed here.
Okay.
Can I make a nature check as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Valdeth will condense it for no other reason than for easing communications or forming a plan.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm just like shooting it off to everybody. Because
So you all
telepathy is slow.
presumably
going that
you
way.
all condense.
Yeah.
Once some of you see the others condensing, you also the dust cloud is remaining around you, so you do have a bit of cover here as well.
And even if it starts to disperse, if we take like a couple of minutes, we can kick it back up if we need to in cloud form.
Easily.
I am in agreement with Ithram that we simply wait and see how these fight progresses, see what spells might be getting countered and such things.
All right. So, those of you that want to, go ahead and make nature rolls. And while we wait to see why the dragons aren't flying, that's when we're going to take a quick break. So
can
if you're
I
watching,
assist somebody?
If you want. Those of you that are watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And also remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you like. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. A dinosaur story. Anyways, so nature checks were had. So just to be clear, I know Titania was looking at the whirlwind above. Annabella, what were you looking at?
I was actually looking for it's a nature roll, so that wouldn't work. I would look for environmental hazards, specifically the storm above, but if I could see any other environmental hazards that might stop them.
You also look. Go ahead.
Also, as an aside, if I could make another roll, if I need to make another roll, I would also be looking for anything that the other groups were doing that might stop them from flying.
Okay. Perception check. Gent, what were you looking for with your nature roll?
Gent was looking for nature to see, is there anything that's keeping us from just in cloud form bulleting our way into the skull and just ignoring all of this bullshit? And secondarily, if not, trying to plot the most obstruction-free course that would get us there.
Right, Vespia, what were you looking for with your nature check?
She's doing a more general nature check to also just look for the easiest path.
Yeah. So with nature, so that would actually be more like a either a survival or a perception check. Nature is more, what is this thing that is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were analyzing the whirlwind or something.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a perception check for me, Vespia, while we go with the nature check. So to Titania first with the 15. Definitely not natural.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the easiest thing you can tell. You're not.
You skipped me, by the way.
Sin with an 18. What were you looking for?
I would actually like to replace that with an Arcana roll, because Sin wants to survey everything that's going on and see if there's anything that's inhibiting magic in the area.
Okay, go ahead and make an Arcana roll.
Like counter defenses, anti-magic shit, things like that.
Okay, go make an Arcana roll then.
Basically the same.
Yeah. Okay, so 15 nature check from Titania. You know that's not natural. You don't know what's causing it, but it's definitely being influenced by something. Something on the battlefield is causing that.
Okay.
And to an effect. You haven't seen what the effect was yet, but you can. That is not something that is conjured naturally, or for no reason. That's not an aesthetic.
A vibe.
This one. There it is. That's right. But Vespia re-rolled. Get
real quick.
Annabella. Yep, go ahead.
Since we're gonna be here for a minute watching all this stuff, Ithram is beginning to ritually cast Rary's telepathic bond on everybody except for Zara, since they were the only ones able to communicate while we were in cloud before.
All right. So what? So you're casting it. What does that look like as you're casting that?
So he has just a chicken and a robin egg half, and he sets them on a little plate, and then just draws little runes on the outside of it, linked to each of the people.
I love how much wizard casting has been influenced by a lot of people by Latrine from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I'm gonna
Get a couple of
chicken.
Get a couple of eggs, put it on a plate, do some shit inside. Anyways, as Titania pets a cock. Anyways,
John.
You're on
it's
a
a
roll.
chicken. It's a chicken.
Shakar flies up into the sky and attacks God.
You know what we can do?
Yes, grease can catch fire, Nikki.
Thank you.
We could
It's
throw the
called
chick-
grease.
I mean, like if no one
I
else
know,
figures
I know.
out what's going on, we can throw the chicken over the cliff.
To be
find out
clear,
what's
Ithram
going
had
on.
a chicken egg, not an actual chicken.
Yeah,
I
just
heard
had
a chicken and the robin's egg. Okay.
Just imagining
Yeah,
if
I
you're
got a
pulling
whole
out
ass-
a robin and a chicken and squeezing them, the
Yeah,
eggs
no.
come out.
I'll just picture like, okay, I need to make a
Just like a
telepathic bond. I've got this egg
tube
and a
of
chicken.
toothpaste just
Here, you get the danger. You get the dangerous end. Hands you the chicken.
You take the chicken, you run into battle, you throw the chicken at them, they swat the chicken, and then a horde of chickens
I have the
shows
larger
up.
juice prepared for a reason.
Anyways, so, I've completely lost my train of thought. Annabella.
Wait, the chicken's name is Jamie Madrox?
God damn it! Stop.
Sorry.
Annabella. Sorry, it's fine. I'm just trying to brain. With a 20 nature, because you're looking for other things going on in the environment, and also you made a perception check as well. 20 nature and 22 perception. So you can definitely tell that there are multiple different sort of environmental effects going on, all from each of the like triad. And as you're looking down, you're sort of everything like every group down there is being led by a creature who can affect the environment in which they live. And all three of them seem to be trying to claim dominion over this area. The one already has dominion. So you're mechanically what you're sensing is there is at least one layer effect in play, and there may be other layer effects in play or trying to be put into play. By
I wonder how much mana they had to tap.
By creatures that can do that. With a perception check for like sort of what was that? What was the perception check for? Like safe paths, or was it
to see what was actually making the dragons not fly?
Yeah. So with the 22, you actually catch one of the younger dragons that seems to have arrived recently to the fight takes off for like an aerial maneuver, and as it rises roughly to the level of where the Titans' forces are, the massive Colossus just angles this massive spear that it's holding, and from the eyes of the skull, red light appears, and lightning crashes down. Like 3 or 4 bolts of lightning crash down from the maelstrom above and strike through this dragon. Now, it's a blue dragon. You would expect the lightning to not do anything, but it is dead. You watch, actually, as it desiccates in the lightning bolts. And hits the ground.
So, real quick, 2 things. Number 1, can I tell if that effect was in direct result to the spear?
Yes.
Okay. Second thing. Because the thing is actually attacking with the spear. Do I think, now this will be a theory more so than actually knowing, but do I think that our cloud of dust should be able to pass through without drawing the attention of that type?
You don't know. This is not a creature you've ever seen or interacted with, so you have no idea how good its perception is.
Okay. I'm going to pass along what I know then.
And you all sort of saw that like lightning strike, but you didn't see necessarily what caused it. Annabella did see what caused it, though.
So lightning came from the spear. The thing thrusted its spear at the dragon. To
clarify, the lightning didn't come from the spear. The Colossus gestured with the spear. The eyes on the skull glowed, and then lightning struck from the sky, from the storm. Yeah.
So the storm is definitely something the Titans are doing.
And then you also noticed
so
that
as a result,
normal lightning.
we could possibly get past in cloud form, but we also don't know if this thing is going to perceive us as a threat if we go through in cloud form.
And several of you do know that cloud form does not protect you from magical effects.
Right. Yep. So it's just a matter of whether or not the thing perceives us as a threat. If it doesn't perceive us as a threat, we're fine. But if it perceives us as a threat, we're kind of hosed.
I don't think any of us could sneak past them anyway.
Gent, remind me again what your nature check was for.
Nature check was to see basically if there's any environmental factors that we can take advantage of in order to take a transit.
Okay.
And then he also, I assume you want to make a perception check to try and plot best course?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like
I'll roll that now as well.
So with the 12 on the nature check then, because I know you said you didn't actually need to have advantage.
Yeah.
you are there are a lot of things happening in the environment. You can tell that like the dragons that like you're pretty certain that the Titan is the one that's sort of controlling the area at the moment. But at any point in time, you have an inkling that the mountain giant, which is the one that looks like a mountain, or one of the two ancient dragons could take control of the field magically. So you're not certain exactly what mechanism is that balance point. You imagine it's something to do with the strength of their forces. The fact that the opposite two aren't able to wrestle control from the Titan likely means that the three are in fairly equal balance, considering the Titan was likely here first. But you're not like at any point in time, if the Titan's forces suddenly suffered a dramatic loss of forces, it's possible that either the mountain giant or one of the dragons could take control magically of the realm of the area. And with a perception check, with their focus so on the defensive, you're not certain if there is a good way to get past the Titans, other than maybe coming from above them. So, like, if you were to take the long way around to the other side of the ravine and then go down, that might be a good way. Or if you had some method of burrowing, you could probably burrow down through the cliff rather than going straight across the battlefield.
Yep.
That's yours. Sin with the Arcana check with a 17.
Yep.
Specifically, magical effects being, what was it again?
Anything that is affecting magic, anything that's affecting spells, anything that's making, basically anything that would make just teleporting past them.
So you do get a sense that there is some amount of abjurative magic at play. You don't really have an idea of fully what it is, but you can tell that there are. You saw the eyes light up on the skull earlier, which means at the very least the Titan's bones are magically active, or at least a source of magical power. You don't know if that means for certain that you can't teleport past it, but you do know that it means it's possible there's some defense there. You're not seeing any obvious like glyphs or runes or magic circles or anything like that, though.
Okay.
And
hazardous, not certain.
Yeah. Vespia with a 12 on their perception check. Looking for a path through. If you were looking for a way to get through on your own, you imagine it'd probably be easier to sneak past the giants on the right if you were to go down, because there's generally more tree cover on that side, and also there are less smaller entities. Again, you're not seeing all of the troops, but the humanoids are definitely like the non-humanoid aspect of the battle is definitely on the smaller side with the dragons, which means they're going to be a little bit more nimble and more likely to notice smaller things traveling through their area. And that's all the rolls, I think. Oh wait, Ghent, 20 perception to chart.
No, you already gave him.
Oh yeah, I already gave him.
Right, yeah. It's the swing around.
Going around down, yeah. All right, so that's what all you sort of get, and Annabella has already shared that it seems like the Titan's lair effect of some kind is generating that storm and preventing the dragons from taking flight.
Well, it seems to me that the most tactically advantageous thing would be to see if we have any more magic that would conceal us. Go for a subtler approach, swing wide around the outskirts of the battlefield, hopefully without catching notice. And once we're on top of the skull itself, then just make a mad dash inside behind the Colossus there.
What if someone caused a distraction?
Can you do that while still being in our company and therefore not being caught outside alone?
Exactly. Anyone causing the distraction is likely to draw attention to themselves, which then makes that person a target, which we already have enough of a distraction by the other battle happening.
This is true.
What if we used an illusion to cause a distraction?
I feel like that would draw attention to us rather than away from us.
Also,
Agreed.
let's not discount the possibility that at least some of these incredibly powerful beings are able to see right through illusion,
That is fair.
So
which would include invisibility, I should point out.
Oh no. Yeah, I wouldn't become invisible. I would become a ghost and drop down some shiny things that make a lot of light in a certain area and then dip out. But if y'all don't want me being away from the group, that probably won't work.
the
I could
better
also
thing,
throw them.
in my opinion, I think the better thing to do is find one of the groups, whichever group is the shortest path around, go behind that group. So be flanking the group, for example, the dragons. We would go behind the dragons so that while they're still engaging the dragons, or while they're still engaging the titans rather, we're going around them, not necessarily flanking them like we're not attacking them, we're just going behind them and go around that way to get to the skull, instead of trying to go directly through in the middle. And even if we did it like in cloud form to maybe minimize the chance of us being perceived that way, I think that would be a lot smarter than us trying to go straight through.
The thing with cloud form is that if we get, I mean, we're not invincible as clouds. We can
True.
still get injured, and
Absolutely.
if we are, then it takes a while to be able to do anything to stop that.
I was just talking about the possibility of us not being perceived. But if we're trying to get around just with minimal conflict rather than not being perceived, then obviously cloud form is not the best way.
So,
Titania was about to say something.
So yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can make us a lot harder to detect with Pass Without Trace.
So the thought that has come to mind, analyzing everything that everyone has said and the approaches that we've got, teleportation sort of iffy based on potential wards, not certain. The eyes of the particular Colossus seem to be the largest danger. There's plenty of cover around the giants, however, straight paths become difficult. The plan that's forming to me, as well as potential mention of a distraction, is taking advantage of the fact that we in cloud form have a certain amount of influence over the environment. We built up a dust storm coming here. We can build up a new one and send it over the battlefield to reduce visibility, and use that reduction in visibility to follow Gent's advice of circling around back to get around the skull without drawing too much attention to ourselves.
Seems reasonable.
I'm down.
I really like that plan, actually.
I'm in support.
So I have a sense, being attuned with like nature and the way the wind and stuff is happening here, would we be able to direct that fairly well, or do I know a way to like let the others know how we can do that best? Or is that big storm that's happening above going to make that impossible?
The big storm above, it makes things interesting as far as you can tell,
Yeah.
without actually communing with nature, unless you are going to do that.
I would like to.
Would you?
It costs me a slot.
Yeah. Whenever something has enough power over its surroundings that they can do something like pull that storm into existence, they're gonna have more influence over the surrounding area as well than you might normally expect. So it's hard to predict without knowing much about the Titan.
Though at the same time, there's conflict with two other sources trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, so like there's it's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen as far as how effective that's going to be or how well you're able to control it. You have an idea, like if that once isn't the case, you absolutely could direct the dust cloud with your movements. But with no real way to know exactly what's going on magically in the area, hard to say. Hard to say for certain, at least.
if I can commune with nature for a bit, I might be able to get some answers.
I can also ask the spirits if this plan will at least prove beneficial.
Yeah.
So Valdeth will put her hands together again and again. A sort of light wind kicks up, tussles her hair as she will cast augury.
John,
Yes.
I watched that dragon die. John, I watched that dragon die.
There's a range.
Can I
on
speak
your
to the
ability.
dragon? Come on, man. Let me speak to the dragon.
It's over 300 feet away from you.
This is fair.
Yeah, I will cast augury to ask if providing a dust storm for a reduction of visibility will aid us in sneaking into the skull.
You get uncertainty.
Okay, get neither. The spirits are as uncertain as we are.
I cast
One-
Commune with nature ritually. So Titania sits down and sticks her hand in the dirt. This one is probably the most like the way she's cast it before, because she's really like this one, and this was like the one she was most like familiar with, not doing strictly from her divine like source of power. So
Which
it
makes
looks
it
pretty similar.
which makes it all the more unsettling when the ghost appears behind her and does the same motions.
Yeah.
But yeah, you sit down, commune with nature, you put your hands in the dirt. How long does it take for you to ritual cast it?
10 minutes.
Okay, so Titania's sitting down for a while, so y'all can continue to discuss if you would like.
Can you let me know when my 10 minutes is up?
Your 10 minutes will be up roughly now, we'll say. Everyone's been taking a while to look around at things, so.
Okay, then I have an experiment. I want to try something.
Okay.
Experiments.
Yep. I'm going to pop Shakar out, and I'm going to cast Nistel's magic aura on him to give him the same creature type as the Titankin that are defending.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have him.
So
Take
what creature type would that be?
Titan is a creature type, if I recall correctly.
Titan is a creature subtype that applies to several different things.
Okay.
It can apply to giants and constructs.
I'll give him a construct.
So construct Titan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have him do a wide arc around, a low wide arc around behind the giantkin, and come up from the right side over here, and just kind of like fly into the ranks and see how they react.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check for Shakar.
Let me.
With advantage, because you're very small and you're going behind the giants rather than the dragons.
Extra Shakar. Stealth. +3.
I want to make a wizard subclass that specializes in familiars.
I have a third party for that already. It's the familiars metal weave. Let's see.
Anyways.
Pokemon trainer.
Oof.
So
I'm going to use an inspiration.
All right, go ahead.
12.
12's better than an 8.
It is.
So, Shakar. Go ahead and give
Hey,
me
look, a bird.
just go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw for Shakar.
All right. Just +1. 17.
All right. So Shakar doesn't fully escape the notice of the giants, but does manage to avoid the boulder that gets thrown as as Shakar sort of flits around the battlefield and into the Titan's ranks. You notice actually that as the boulder flies towards Shakar and Shakar gets across a certain invisible line on the Titan side of the field, one of the Titans on the one of the Titankin on the other side reaches down and just picks up this large, like sort of reaches back to as if he's going to grab something, and you watch as just an actual lightning bolt materializes in its hand and launches it at the giant that threw a boulder at Shakar, sort of blasting an arm off of it. And Shakar flips into the Titan's ranks, and they don't seem to notice or care.
All right. I want to
Oh,
see.
what a shot!
I want to see how close he can get to the mouth of the Titan skull.
Lands on the mouth. Lands on like the sort of the upper tooth line.
All right,
Nice.
I'll just have him stand there behind, I'm assuming, the ankle of the giant in front.
So the giant comes up to like the nose of the thing, so you're actually like right around mid back of the Colossus.
Okay. Just, that's in between whatever might be hucked that way by the giants.
Uh,
That is
Got
good
it.
news, at least.
In my way.
found it. Found it. Sorry, I'm interrupting people. Other people can talk.
I'm just being stupid.
Okay. Valdeth. Valdeth.
Aye.
If I were close enough, I don't want to do it right now unless you want me to one of the beings down here, I could, if I see one of them die and they're like close to me, I can like do that thing that I did with oh no, my brain wants to say Angel. I don't think her name was Angel.
Ariel?
Ariel, thank you. I can do that thing like I did with Ariel where I like asked them a question. Would you like me to do that? And if so, which one should I look out for?
I don't think it's worth the risk right now.
But if it comes up later at any
Yeah.
point here,
If there's a chance to do it without being noticed, then
oh, they just have to be next to me, and if they die, then the thing is 30 feet. So they just have to die. I don't have to do it. You guys don't have to do it. If I just see them die within 30 feet of me, I can snatch their soul and ask them one question.
fair enough. If I would prioritize the Titankin then, because they're the ones we know the least about.
Okie dokie.
If it's even possible, it might not be possible to grab their souls. They seem unique.
If it's got a soul, I can snatch it. But if they don't, which some constructs don't. Yeah. Okay. No, I wouldn't run off. I only run off when you guys ask me to.
What do you do with them after you grab them, Skaz?
Well, this, and he like holds up his wrist. You see the little charm bracelet. He's like, they sit here, and sometimes I use them for vengeful purposes, and they like hurt people, and they scream and stuff, and it's really scary. They make sure that I don't die really easily, and sometimes they really, really, really don't want to be stuck here. They want to go off to their afterlife, and so they'll answer a question for me so that I will let them go.
And so all those ones that you're wearing now, those are ones that you haven't let go?
Well, yeah.
Is it because they don't want to let go, or because you don't want to let them go?
Well, one of them is one that I don't want to let go because it was a friend that died a while ago, and I miss her. But the other ones were just bad people that I will use for the benefit of helping my friends, and that is how I am morally allowing myself to think about it.
And then so after you use them, they get let go, or you still hold on? Okay.
Nope.
And the one that's your friend, do you still talk to her?
think she responds, but sometimes, yeah.
Okay. So guys, would it be okay if we talked a bit more about this sometimes when there aren't, all this going on?
We
and
got
sort
like
of
10
gestures?
minutes.
Okay. I think we might need more than that, and I think we might need some stronger drinks than I think would be appropriate to break out at the moment.
Is it about me holding on?
Sensitive about necromancy.
Is it because of the ghost bit? Is it because I'm holding on to people's souls? Is it because of the fact that my soul can continue to be reincarnated over and over again, like some sick idea to a god?
No,
because there's a lot going on there.
No, you're right. And actually, I feel like after that,
it's okay though.
There are more conversations than I initially thought. No, it's just more about missing your friend, in case you wanted to talk about it.
There's a lot of friends that I miss.
I understand how that can be.
Just for future, no negativity, but do not grab my soul if I die.
I won't.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Do not grab mine either, but where can I get one of those?
Well, I can make you a charm bracelet with like regular coins. But to do this, again, the gods have to play a really sick trick and see how many times your soul can be reincarnated into different dimensions. So you like still have the memories of your friends, but sometimes you don't. So yeah.
At this point, Titania finishes her cast.
Let's go.
So you commune with nature. What information are you getting from your commune?
Okay. So this is the specifics on the spell. I'm wondering if I can do this as far as stuff in the air. But I think definitely influence from other planes of existence. Where's that portal? Can I get a better bead on where it is? Is there other influences happening on this battlefield?
Okay.
That's one. Can I use with terrain? Can I use that for like terrain of the air and how? Because I had originally done this to try and figure out whether Valdis' plan of the dust storm would work, if we'd be able to do that, if that's possible, or like how we'd be able to direct it where we want it to go.
Sure.
Okay, that's two. And then last one. Kind of know what's there because we can see them. Buildings, that's not really important.
Is there cheese nearby?
I'm actually gonna go with powerful celestials, faith, elementals or undead, but not the ones that I can see. I'm trying to look specifically on that skull and inside that skull because it's within range, I'm assuming. What might be in there that we don't know about? Do the Titans have other guards inside?
Or cheese?
Okay. So
behead cheese.
Influence from other planes of existence. Yes, you can tell that there is some sort of portal, some sort of planar gate inside the Titan's head.
Got it.
Sort of like buried a little bit, so like a little bit under.
Okay. Underground.
Underground, like under the Titan's head, but not too far under.
Okay.
Terrain and bodies of water.
Yep.
The surrounding area is pretty dusty and rocky, and under normal circumstances, absolutely, you could sort of cajole the dust cloud to go along with you. You get the sense that the maelstrom is disturbing air currents to a pretty significant degree, and so it's not going to be predictable where that dust cloud's going to go while you're in the vicinity of the area.
Yep. Okay.
And then Celestials, Fae, Fiend, Undead. You actually sense, so you do sense presences from the battlefield as well. You do sense undead presences from amongst the giants.
Okay.
You sense celestial presences from amongst the Titans. You actually sense that there is a celestial presence very close to the Colossus, and then also some additional celestial presences within the Titan skull itself.
Okay. Are those smaller or the same size as that Colossus?
They're not the same size as the Colossus. No, they're more closer to humanoid in size.
Okay. I will relay that to the group. I don't think the dust plan might work. It'll definitely get noticed, I think. If we do it enough. I don't know if it's gonna have the effect you want it to. Valdeth.
I'd certainly prefer it than just going in completely uncovered.
Yeah. I mean, there's the other the pass without trace plan.
We can do both, is the thing there.
Okay. The giants have undead. And there are celestials. That big Colossus thing is one. And there are more inside. So
the Colossus is not a celestial. There is a celestial.
Okay.
There's a celestial presence near the Colossus.
My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I will
About 30 feet to the left.
Okay.
Nope, not that one.
No.
About 10 feet to the left.
Okay. Yep. It'll be the tiny one.
He's tiny. There was also celestial inside the skull.
Yes. Multiple.
Yes.
So that's what we've got.
Do we want to maybe do? We don't want to split up, but maybe splitting up and going in opposite directions and meeting back in the middle make us smaller.
No, that would be dangerous for anyone who gets caught out to one side.
There are so many groups on the battlefield. I don't know if it would have that big
exciting.
It would take a considerable amount of my energy for the day, but I was able to get Shakar to the other side, and he'll point him out and have him move to where he's visible, where you can see him over the Colossus's shoulder.
Oh,
They actually defended him as well. I could cast the same spell on each of us, and we would actually be protected the closer we got. So should anything negative happen on the journey over, we would at least have them also defending us.
car, you mean? I'm not sure what you mean.
The spell that I used for Ghent to change how he was perceived.
Ah.
I used
I'm
the
a
same
plant.
One. Yes. Not anymore.
No.
Didn't we like take the time to make that permanent at one point, or
we were on our way to, and then
but then we ended. But then Ternalian helped us kill the guy who was after
Yeah.
me, so it became less of a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ternalian's just a helpful guy.
that's one way of describing him? Yes.
He's very helpful.
Agree to disagree.
He's just as helpful as your uncle is.
It's an option. I don't know what's on the other side.
You say that like that's a support of your perspective.
It certainly seemed to help a lot with Shakar.
How much energy does it
I
use?
was about to say, how many spells would you still be able to cast after doing that for all of us?
Oh, after that, let's see. Six.
That's a lot of spells gone.
Nah.
We're just trying to move our way quickly, and I think that's a big cost.
Based on what I'm seeing,
Does make an entire one of the three factions not want to fight you.
It is honestly the faction I'm most worried about.
Based on what I'm seeing, it does possibly bear mentioning that I think it would be easier if we do our roundabout approach on the giant side rather than the dragons.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Based on the cover that's been mentioned.
And they won't know. They won't want to get near us because of the spell I put on Ithram yesterday.
Indeed.
Oh, but if they do see us, they will definitely notice.
Once we get away from them, it basically makes them probably not care about us. They've got other priorities.
All right.
If we get further away, then they can tell that something happened.
But at that time, hopefully, there will be a core of celestials and
Didn't
titans
you
in between us
cast
and
it? Didn't you cast antipathy?
Yes.
It makes them
That'll
fearful
make
of
them
me.
run away. Yeah.
Yeah, antipathy is not
Oh,
apathy.
yeah. Sorry.
Shoot.
Antipathy is
Antipathy
in
a
fact
frightening thing.
Yeah, antipathy is in fact one of the things that is distinctly not apathy.
Okay, that is fair.
Apathy's a cantrip.
At worst, they notice and run away.
Yeah.
No, at worst they notice and are unaffected
Okay, that is fair.
because it is a save.
Just in case, Ithram, how long does it take you to make somebody seem a thing?
A moment.
Okay.
That's good.
It's a
Takes an
backup
action
plan.
to cast this
somewhere less than 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have it as a backup plan just in case.
And this is I was working. What is the
Nistel's magic aura.
Which just makes you appear as something.
It made Shakar appear as a Titan, which then made the Titans protect Shakar from the giants.
There are person-sized people fighting on the giant side, right? That was what I had heard.
Yes.
Yeah, there are person-sized people fighting on all 3 sides technically.
Right.
You don't see any of the ones that are fighting on the Titan sides because, well, they're hard to see amongst Titans. But Titania did sense a celestial, which seemed to be more humanoid-sized than the rest of the Titans.
I can blend if we need to. But again, this is all if we need to.
So
we're looking for contingencies upon contingencies upon contingencies.
I'm going to make a point here. We're looking for a door that's inside that skull that's going to take us away from all this.
Indeed.
Yes.
Having that magic that makes the things defending the skull not want to kill us makes finding that door easier.
Yep.
It does.
Ithram, make an Arcana check. With a 12.
It's gonna be a where is it?
I'm gonna say
It's been
face.
so
17.
long. Yep, I'm gonna say face. So +5, 17.
With 17, better. You were thinking about what Sin had warned about earlier about how there may be some magical deterrence on the skull, and you're sort of clicking together, and what you've just learned about your thing, you're clicking things together. If there's a magical deterrence on the skull, it's originating from the Titans. And if it's keyed to enemies, then likely, if you register magically as a Titan, you might be able to get past it if it exists. Which might make Dimension Door more viable. Or other teleportation options. Like, you can see it, teleport may work.
So yeah, I'll relay that. It's an option.
So it would probably be better for us if we're trying to look for a door we're not trying to get into combat. We're not trying to fight anything in there. So it might be best for us to seem like the Titans, to get in there so we don't have to fight what's ever in there, to find this door and then get out.
Yes, once we're on the inside, we should be safe from most things that would want to harm us out here.
Despite my usual proclivities, I can say that in this one situation, getting in a fight is something I'd be happy to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I think the idea is to get across the battlefield without any of them noticing us.
I definitely, as much as it is a major cost to your spells, Ithram, I think that might be the best plan.
I mean, we could still do Ithram's thing, and then Titania could cast Pass Without Trace so we can get past the worst of it, and then get to the Titans, and then just walk on in. Is that kind of what would happen?
And if we do end up being engaged, we just need to be aware that we all need to have Ithram's back because he doesn't really have a whole lot he can do.
Oh, I got Ithram's cast, but I got him.
I still have plenty I can do, but I will need the help. Yes.
This mage has powerful cantrips. He's never out of combat.
Don't worry, darling. I have your back and your front.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Get you someone that got your back and your front.
All right, sounds like we've got a plan. Start casting.
I hope
things?
so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You're a plan. Just to lay out the plan. You're going to cast Nystel's Magic Aura 9 times to turn all of you into Construct Titan type creatures, or like register as.
Yes.
And then, are you going to try to sneak there physically, or are you going to try to teleport there magically?
Can we not do the cloud thing again?
You could
can absolutely windwalk and just fly there.
Because we're also, everybody except for Zara is under the effects of Rari's telepathic bond. So while we're in cloud, we can also still communicate.
Yep.
Yeah. If you wanted to cloud walk, windwalk, you still have time on that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do Pass Without Trace while Ithram's doing his. At the end of when Ithram's doing his thing, I also want to prep with getting my Reaper stuff set up before we start moving, just in case we get into a. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't make sense because we'd be clouds. Never mind. Won't do that. Just Pass Without Trace.
This battlefield is short. Even circling around it, we're gonna clear it in a round or two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any physical sensation to the spell being cast on us?
Yeah, it feels like static shock, just like when somebody's been.
I love that.
Superhero static shock.
Yeah.
What a shock to you!
That was one of the better shows. Yep. Miss it. But yeah, no, it's just like a little red zzz. And as far as you're aware, nothing's changed other than I zapped you.
There is a movie in the works.
Does
Yep.
Any of us look different?
No.
There's no visual change, right?
No, it's just your magical aura that reads differently.
It would be really funny if Ithram zapped Scuzz and Scuzz suddenly turned into a ghost. He's like, "Oh no, you killed me!" I'm not.
Basically, if Ithram just changed our magical transponder codes, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real
Changed
easy
our
to do.
skew.
And I will do Pass Without Trace.
All right. Cast Pass Without Trace.
Yep.
And as you and how does it look like now? Well, the ever-present question: what does that look like now, Titania?
I think she's just going around and like after Ithram taps people, I'm gonna tap people, and it just feels like a cold wash kind of thing, because then you don't give off a heat signature, basically. Idea.
And again, as with all of her spells, there's a ghost behind her also tapping you.
I don't. Is no one gonna talk about this?
I don't know if there is anything really to say. Like, what are we going to say about it?
It's a big bony dude behind
I know.
Titania.
Indeed.
It's a
She's been
Reaper
through
spirit.
a lot.
Scuzz.
Sorry, I actually missed what you said, Mara.
Oh, it's a Reaper spirit, Scuzz.
Okay. Are you safe?
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's fine. We've got an understanding.
We are pretending that it is fine.
Does
It's
it
a
have
gift from
name?
Dagoth. Let it be.
Does it have,
Can it
what was
hear
the-
us? Kind of wave at it.
I have questions, but as long as you're okay, I'm okay.
It doesn't. It seems to be Grumman. As you wave at it, it doesn't react. It seems to be like bound into mimicking Titania's motions.
I love that.
If it's any comfort to you, Drummond, I've taken to calling it my uncle's keeper.
That is not even the slightest.
I will call it Greg. Hello,
Alright,
Greg.
so Muck it is.
I appreciate how many conversations we are going to be having coming out of this planning session.
Mara, you do know that spirit has a name.
Oh, okay. What's its name?
It is
Jim.
on.
Follow me.
Girl.
What is Monty Python?
Him.
Him.
Him. Thank you.
Tim.
It is Itzala.
Is it Zala?
It actually has a name already,
Yeah.
but
That's also yes. Can I call you Sin? Is it a Sin day?
That is fine.
Okay.
Sin, Zara, whichever you prefer. I never mind being referred to as my primary name, except for in situations where I am clearly in an espionage state.
Okie dokie. Yes, in communication is the greatest form that a band of friends can have. Always have conversations.
Sure.
In any event, let's put this plan in motion, shall we?
Let's
We only got so
go.
long.
yep.
So, you've passed without a trace. You spent a little while and become clouds.
Yep.
You are all magically registering as Titans, and you go. Give me stealth
Titan
checks.
cloud.
everybody.
Enter the void.
We're
Yeah.
Become
networked
wind.
Titan
Got
clouds.
+10 to this.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Great. Here we go.
36.
Nice.
Good job.
I didn't want to roll there.
20.
Ignore that. Ignore that. My God. Christ.
Hang on.
Why are you in heavy armor?
It's technically
because of
medium
the-
armor, but it is one of the medium armors that imposes disadvantage on stealth.
It's
But do you have
not, because I
disadvantage
ha-
on? Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
I
'cause you
don't
still
have
rolled
the
it.
disadvantage on itself. It's because this is the sheet that doesn't let me switch that. It's flat because the armor is made out of wood.
To be fair, the one is what you rolled.
It was the
first.
first one.
Yeah.
though,
I
so-
am using an inspiration. to
That's fair.
reroll that.
It's a good idea.
I've got 3 of them. Now I have
2.
Okay, here we
Roll
go.
a 2.
21 total.
There we
Hey.
go. 30.
Hey.
26.
Got a 44.
Oh no!
Even with
Yes.
a natural one, that's still 21 total.
I'm gonna use my
Yes.
inspiration because
Do it.
we're not doing that.
We're not
Fucking
doing
do
that.
it.
Yeah.
Hey!
40.
The wind.
Just around 40.
This is what inspiration exists for.
Hell
Show off.
yeah.
Because I rolled a natural 1 and then a natural 20.
Hell yeah.
Show off.
Scuzz and Annabella are leaves on the wind.
Annabella disappears from the campaign.
Annabella becomes a fart in the wind.
No, that's Scuzz.
Can I not be compared to a fart, please? Thanks.
No, 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 no.
Technically, all
You're-
of
This
us.
is gonna
you're
go by a
beautiful
giant and be
sweet-
like butter.
No, Annabella, you're a beautiful spring breeze. It's amazing. It's glorious.
I do appreciate that there are 3 over 35s in this
Yep.
set of rolls.
So-
I'm 37, actually. I'll be 38 in June.
4.
Like a series of ghosts,
I was making a joke about
Yes.
my age, Jeremy.
Yeah, I got it.
Like a series of ghosts, you all maneuver across the
Still young.
battlefield, taking the wider berth around the giant side of things. You very skillfully evade any detection by the giants, and pass along through the Titan forces. You get a sense that all of the Titan forces are aware of you, but they are not attacking you. And in fact, as you pass close to the colossal Titan, you see a figure off to one side of the Titan. It is a feminine figure, tall, lithe, with two large black wings extended at full, sort of hovering near. The wings are not flapping, but it is still flying, as it sort of hovers off to one side with a scythe in hand, looking at the dust, at the clouds as you approach toward the Titan skull. Just watching you go, not saying anything or sending any signals, but aware of your presence as you into the mouth of the Titan skull, bypassing the
Recognize
conflict
what-
around.
Do I recognize what that is? What kind
Go
of
ahead.
entity that is?
Give me a religion check.
Now that we're closer, can take a peek. See if
At what, Ithram?
the non
The Celestial?
yes. The
Right,
non
anyone who wants to can make a religion check while looking at the Celestial.
Why not? I'll roll to see if I know anything. I don't know anything.
Let's roll.
I know even
religion.
less.
I was gonna say, Gent and Sin know even less.
Yep,
I know
that's
a
a big
lot.
motherfucker.
I apparently know about angels. That checks out.
All right, so
Not
look,
rolled because I'll aid.
looking at this ivory-skinned, dark-haired, dark-winged creature clad in gold and silver with a large scythe, just sort of watching as you go past. Several of you recognize it. Titania, you recognize Titania, Ithram, Vespia, Annabella, and Skuz. You all recognize this for a Death Pact angel. This is a creature. This is an angel from not quite the Shadowfell, but from the sort of organizational structures around the Shadowfell. This is an angel of Dagoth specifically, but not one that necessarily serves Dagoth directly. This is an angel that fulfills dying wishes effectively. Or is tied to dying wishes. And in that they are doing nothing to you, you suspect that whatever wish it is fulfilling is related to either the Titan that is dead or some other Titan kin, and that which would be why it is standing on the side of the Titans.
Cool.
But you
Radical.
into the mouth of the Titan. You flow. There's only really one path as you find yourself in a rocky crevasse. There's definitely sort of slightly lined with bones. It seems that as you go, you get. It feels almost like the stone was flesh, or was the flesh of whatever this creature was at one point, based on how it clings still to the bones around it. The bones were not. The bones are not embedded in it. The bones are protruding from it. As you follow down this skeletal passage, eventually you find yourself roughly 10 feet below ground, having followed down, and in what seems to be a dead-end chamber. In the middle of the chamber, you see a large, glowing blue sigil. Interconnected weaving lines of magic, all connecting together, pulsing with magic. And standing at 3 points on this sigil, you see a trio of humanoid figures. These figures all are dressed in vaguely the same manner. Let me pull this up again. Where are you? They are all wearing dark black leather clothes. They are respectively 2 humans, one young and feminine, one older and masculine, and then the third being a tiefling, red of skin with sort of silvery horns. Dressed smartly, and all 3 with sort of glowing blue eyes that radiate the same color as the magical emblem on the ground. And as you enter into the room as gas, all of you suddenly stumble to your feet. No longer clouds as you enter into the room. The 3 turn to you, and in one voice, "Welcome, Steelhearts." All 3 say.
And associates.
All 3 sets of eyes flick towards Sin in the same motion and then flick back. Welcome. And that's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Goodbye.